as you can see, I've got an issue with the Citroen. And this issue is caused by two things. One, it was weakened because of rust, mainly. Well, not mainly actually, no, mainly is the other issue. When I was doing the wax oil and the underseal and all that shit, as you can see, it's beautifully done. If anyone watched that video, you might remember that I drove it off the ramps, and that is a hole. That hole is caused by the ramp going through the sill and fucking it up. And that leads me to a problem. This car is due for an MOT, and it's not going to pass an MOT with a hole in the sill. But the other issue is I really don't want to weld it, so I'm going to do something else, and I'll explain as I go. Firstly, I need to take off this highly effective mudguard, whatever it is, wind deflector. It's something, and I need to take it off. So first I need to take that off. So I'll remove that and pull that off. And then I can see that around here the metal seems okay. It's not brilliant, it's got some crustiness to it, but it's reasonably solid. Up here is perfectly solid, round here is perfectly solid. So if I make a plate that size, approximately 4 inches by 10 centimetres, yes. And as you can see, that should cover up any of the questionable metal. And I've even marked on where to drill in hole so we can refit that shitter. So that leads us to the next part of this plan, which is drill the hole to line up to that shitter. And then I can put in the bolt to hold it lined up to that shitter, as you can see. Which means that this now just needs fastening to this all the way around its perimeter. In a normal situation, normal circumstances, the correct thing would be to do, or the correct thing to do is to weld it. But nah, this hasn't failed its MOT yet, and this is where the questionable thing comes in. With an MOT on a car, for instance, you can't take tools to it. So if this went in for MOT with a hole in the sill, I mean, like I said, the metal, yeah, it's rusty, but it's not rusted through. It's only gone through because it got twatted with a ramp when the car fell on it. But still, it is rusty, and it possibly would have knocked through with an MOT corrosion assessment tool. But it didn't, because it's not been in for test. And this part of the sill doesn't actually do anything, really. The outer sill, it's just an outer skin. But the MOT rules are within 30 centimetres of certain areas, or within 1 foot of certain areas, corrosion or damage is a fail. But you can't take tools to it on an MOT. So if I fix this onto here in a way where it's not going to fall off, then when it comes to MOT time, it shouldn't really fail. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use rivets. Like I said, if this had already failed its MOT, you can't rivet a plate to cover a hole up. You have to weld it once it's failed. Once it's been seen, you have to weld it, leave the welds visible so you can see it's been welded all the way around. They're the rules which you've got to follow. But it's not been in for MOT yet, it's not failed yet. And the MOT test, let's not forget the MOT test is the test for the lowest acceptable roadworthiness, really. So let's get on with riveting the shit around anyway. So that is one. This is easy with both hands, but we've only got one, so I'll have to just make do. Yes, it's not going in properly. Yes. So as you can see, this one that didn't go in properly, with it being such a professional level job and high craftsmanship is expected, I did re-drill that one and did it again, and then I did 2 more. So the next part that I need to do is just rivet it all the way around. So I need to sort of bend it so it's the same shape and hold it against it, and then add rivets. So I'll do them there next, and wherever else will fit. Back. And there we have it. It is a thing of beauty. And that is pretty much, I mean, technically, should be okay. But I'm not finished with it yet. I think what I'm going to do is at least try and disguise it a little bit. So the edges, which are a bit, well, not exactly smooth, I can just go around with some sealant of some description, silicone, whatever, just to make it look a little bit neater. And, you know, take pride in your work and all that lot, as you can see. And then just down here for good luck. Followed by a bit of finger action in the same area. That seems like I put too much on, but there's no such thing. Fuck it, just smear it out everywhere. Look at that, it's like perfect seam sealer. So as you can see, we've done that now, and that is just even more beautiful than it was before. This is like one of them 5-minute crafts actually, isn't it? And try and cover the rivets up a bit so they don't look as obvious. Even though, if it hasn't been tested before, then, you know, a plate rivet onto an otherwise perfect sill underneath, as far as the MOT test is concerned, isn't necessarily a fail, unless they watch this video. But by then it will have already been MOT'd, hopefully. So there, as we can see, we've got that there. And then, all there is left to do is give it a coat of perfectly colour matched paint. Yes, I'm aware that I should primer this and wait for that sealant to dry, but I'll just put loads of paint on and then it'll be okay. More the merrier. No, don't worry about runs or anything like that, because the more runs and the thicker the paint is, it's sort of hiding the job underneath. Yes. And then refit this. If it will refit, it should refit. Like so. Yes. Which leaves us with a perfectly finished product. I mean, as you can see, the paint has taken really well. It's not primed or anything, but it's took really well. Let's just put a bit more on it. Just keep on putting more on it until it covers it up. Beautiful. I mean, I should really put a load of stone chip on it, because that hides a multitude of sins as well, but I ain't got any. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now I've got to do other things to get it through the MOT. I've got to sort the rear brakes out. I'm hoping I can get away with just adjusting the handbrake cable, but I've done a video on that, so I'm not going to show that one. And I'm going to have to fit a catalyst, so I'm going to have to borrow the catalyst off the other C1 and put it onto this one for MOT. Which I'm also not going to do a video on it, because I've already sort of done a video on that as well. So anyway, that's it for this one. As you can see, perfect job, perfect outcome. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all the usual kind of shit. And I'll see you next time. Well, I thought it was done, but then I found some of this. And this stuff, now this is a way to hide all the sins of what I've just done. So put some of that on, nice and carefully. Yes. Yes. Seems I've got it everywhere apart from where I wanted to get it. Carefully rectify that. Better. And then just carefully apply liberally some paint to cover up. As you can see, the paint is coming out in a perfectly uniform manner for a nice even coat, to make it completely, might as well paint that as well while I'm here, to make it completely invisible to the naked eye. Yes. But I still wasn't happy with it, so what I did is I just went ahead and stuck a load of seam sealer of some description over it to hide the edges, so it now, right, it actually looks like it could have been welded and just, you know, covered up with seam sealer to make it neat. So obviously now it should pass with flying colours and not fail for an inadequate repair or anything like that, because if I've learnt nothing in my lifetime, it's that MOT testers absolutely love it when you try and pull the wool over their eyes with bullshit like this. So now the car, obviously they're going to love this and they'll just pass everything on it. It won't fail on anything now. So yeah, as we can see, it probably would have been easier to just weld it. But the main reason I didn't say this, the main reason I didn't weld it is because I've just pumped a load of fucking wax in there and it would have most definitely gone on fire. Which, although would have made good viewing, wouldn't have done me any favours. Which is why pretty much why I did this, more than anything else. And I didn't want to pull the welder out. That's some sort of justification for this fuck up. Anyway, that's it. See you in a bit. Bye.